Albert Einstein, arguably one of the smartest men ever, is credited with a quote that the power of compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. Compounding, or compound interest, is earned when interest or dividends is added to the initial investment, so that from that moment on, the interest that has been added also earns interest. So it refers to the additional earnings that are generated from previous earnings that were generated from an original investment. However, the power of compounding is often eroded through withdrawals. It doesn't matter if it's done because of a cash flow requirement or not, the impact over the long term is the same. Let us illustrate this through an example. Suppose you invest 10,000 Rand into a fund that gives a capital gain of 10% per annum. That is 1,000 Rand every year. If you withdraw that gain at the end of every year, after 20 years, you will only have the original 10,000 Rand investment plus 20 times 1,000 Rand gains every year, giving a total of 30,000 Rand, a return of only 5.6% per annum. Similarly, if the investment also paid a dividend, yielding an additional 2% per year, but you chose to withdraw everything at the end of each year, the total value at the end of 20 years would be 34,000 Rand, or 6.3% return per annum. The power of compounding becomes evident if we leave all, or at least some of the gains in the investment. If there is only capital gains of 10% per annum, letting it all compound over the 20-year period will more than double the end value to 67,275 Rand, or a full 10% per annum. If you add the dividend yield of 2% per annum, the compounded value at the end of the 20-year period is almost 3 times that of the simple end value, namely 96,463 Rand, or 12% per annum. Somewhere in between these two outcomes lies the option of letting the capital gain compound but withdrawing the dividend. This is consistent with a scenario where an investor would require a cash withdrawal that is equal to the dividend yield on the investment. In this scenario, the investment grows to 78,730 Rand over the 20-year period, which is 10.9% per annum. Although it may not always be practical to allow all gains and dividends from an investment to compound over time, exponential benefits can be derived from stopping yourself from dipping your fingers into your investment kitty.